confirm it.
After 6:30.
Travel legal affairs.
Do you want me to conduct that, Madam
All
President?
right, Ed? All right, David,
Is that okay?
and the two of you can work together on it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so, well, this isn't working, so. This is a public hearing before the Legal Affairs Committee, 3-26, Glenn Eaton, Executive Director, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, request to amend the zoning ordinance to replace Article 15, accessory apartments, with a new Article 15 that complies with recently passed state law, and make other changes to implement the new ordinance. This has been before us for quite some time. I am Dave Cormier. I'm the third member of Legal Affairs, and Eladia Romero, the Ward 1 counselor, is the clerk. The chair is not here this evening. So I believe that where we left off, Councilor Shalafo Zephyr, if I'm not mistaken, you had some questions, and I think we all agreed that we needed to change, to amend some language so that it was in concert and didn't conflict with other language that was proposed in this ordinance, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was on, from what I'm reading here, page 3 of the proposed amendments. The language in number 12 seems to conflict with 22-37.2. If I'm not mistaken, what we had agreed to was we were going to change the language from 10 feet to 5 feet.
Yep.
Am I
That's
correct?
wonderful.
And
To be consistent.
we basically had gotten to the point at a subcommittee meeting where that's what we agreed upon. All we were waiting for was the next public hearing, which was supposed to be the last meeting in January, and we had a storm, and so that did not happen, and we had to re-advertise and all those sorts of things. So I think all the framework to this has been laid out, and during the meeting, we can ask for that amendment and then move forward. But prior to really getting to the meat and potatoes of this, I just want to ask, since Attorney Riley is here, this was advertised for Monday, February 23rd. Its own publishing, as I believe the city clerk has. And after I had a conversation today with Madam President, I just want to confirm for the record that you agree that we can have this hearing and we don't need to republish it. If you want to explain.
I can, yes. In my opinion, I also spoke to the president about this, and my opinion was, also this has been around a long time, so I know he wants to move forward, but that while in general the advertising requirements are important, and those did happen, excuse me. But I thought that in taking the totality of circumstances here, blizzard, the governor declared a state of emergency, everything was shut down. Obviously, no one tried to show up here on Monday, and it was posted in accordance with the open meeting law to move things to Wednesday. In my opinion, this would still be legally valid to go ahead with this public hearing.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was on the record for you that we proceed. I'm going to go to, if the Ward 1 counselor is okay, I'm going to go to Councilor Shalfo Zephyr, who wants to weigh in, and then I'll go to the Ward 1 counselor.
There were two questions that were raised with Attorney Russell from KP Law. And the second one had to do with language that was added. And the language that was added was proposed language, amend section 22-24 business B district by adding the phrase in quotes, other than detached single-family homes, to item 24.3.1. And Attorney Russell came back and said, the question was, does this language preclude single-family homes from being built in BB with a special permit, or are single-family homes allowed to be built by right and not subject to a special permit? That was the question. She came back and said, in my opinion, this provision prohibits single-family homes in the BB zoning district, but allows other residential uses by special permit. I'm not aware of what the planning board intended, but in my further opinion, this conflicts with the table of uses which allows certain residential uses, parentheses, bed and breakfast or inn, and upper dwelling units, 1 to 4 units by right. I am also confused why this is in the zoning amendment, as it does not relate to ADUs. So at the meeting that we had, and the last time we discussed it, we agreed to changing the 10 feet to 5 feet and also eliminating this language. There were 2 points, yeah.
Just deleting it.
Deleting,
Just delete it.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll go to the other member of Legal Affairs. Would you like to weigh in on anything regarding this petition?
No, that is correct. I believe that Councilor Shalhoub-Zephyr just described that her recollection is how I recall it as well. And I'm in agreement.
So, before I go to the members of the City Council, Councilor Shalhoub-Zephyr, I'll ask during the regular meeting if you want to make those amendments.
Sure.
And then we'll proceed from there. Does any other councilor have any questions or comments or input on 3-26 before I go to the public? Seeing none, I'm going to go to the public. Would anybody from the public like to speak in favor of 3-26? If so, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Once again, would any member of the public like to speak in favor of 3-26? For the third time, would any member like to speak in favor of 3-26? Would anybody like to speak in opposition to 3-26? Once again, would any member of the public like to speak in opposition of 3-26? And for the third and final time, if any member would like to speak in opposition to 3-26, please come to the microphone. Seeing none, I believe we've hashed out everything that needs to be hashed out with 3-26. And I just want to thank Councilor Shalhoub-Zephyr for all that input. I know that you had those concerns and they were found to be valid, and we'll make those amendments during the regular meeting. But I think at this point, it is, unless there's any objection, it is safe to closing the public hearing on 3-26 finally. Okay, I declare the public hearing on 3-26 closed. And we have a public hearing before the Legal Affairs Committee at 6:35 p.m., 25-26. Attorney Jeffrey Avini, Dombrowski, and Avini and Abano PC request to amend section 22-17 as to underlying zoning districts table of uses for the City of Leominster zoning ordinance as amended, and under the business uses table of uses in the multi-use MU1 underlying zoning districts, and changing the use so designated as self-storage from N, not allowed, to special permit, planning board, SPPB, planning board special permit required pursuant to the City of Leominster zoning ordinances. Self-storage is characterized as business use but is only allowed in the industrial zoning district. The introduction is 21 Jungle Road LLC, hereinafter Jungle Road, is the owner of 21 Jungle Road, Leominster, Mass. As same is referenced as map ID 301 parcel 1, hereinafter the premise. Jungle Road has entered into a purchase and sales agreement with Horizon Storage Group LLC, hereinafter Horizon, for the purchase of the premise, contingent upon Horizon receiving all necessary approvals and permits for the construction of self-storage facility on the premise. The premise is an ideal site for self-storage based on its proximity to Route 2 and Route 190. The premise is located in an area that is, for the most part, commercial or industrial in nature. There are no residential uses that abut or are in the vicinity of the premises. As part of this petition, please see narrative by Horizon Storage Group LLC as to the proposed use for the premises as Exhibit A, concert site plans as Exhibit B, and example architect renderings as Exhibit C. So once again, I'm Dave Cormier, the chairman of the acting chairman of Legal Affairs. I'm the third member, and Aladia Romero is the clerk. The chair is not here this evening, so I am handling the hearing. And once again, just for the record, Attorney Riley, we can proceed fully with this under your opinion for the same reasons, even though the hearing was not specifically published for tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, the same opinion as the previous. So, we've had a hearing about this in the past. We've had a presentation, and I would ask, does the Ward 1 Councilor have any comments or concerns regarding this petition?
My recollection is that we were supposed to have this, a subcommittee meeting, like, on this particular matter to, just address some questions and to get clarification on a couple of different matters. I would like to, I'd like to request that we need to discuss that, if possible, rather than closing this hearing today.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, does any member of the city council, Council Bonanza?
Yeah, the council may recall, or most of us may recall, that we had a similar petition to amend the MU1 zone, permit self-storage in that particular zone up on Harvard Street that we looked at negatively. I went back and looked at that petition. It's almost identical to this one, and it was within the 2 years. However, we did permit leave to withdraw from that prior petition. If we hadn't done that, this would be a repetitive petition in my opinion, but I believe it's not as a result of the fact that we gave the prior one leave to withdraw. The issue we had back then is the same one I think that is present now. This isn't just affecting one piece of land. This is affecting all the MU1 parcels in the city. Really, it's unknown to us what the particular ramifications are of this. I did have a conversation with the engineer for the petitioner and spoke to him about rezoning the parcel because I think there might be some appetite for this land use if in fact it was done as a result of rezoning that affected that parcel and not this unknown set of parcels throughout the city. He's abutted by a piece of land that had been formerly industrial. This would be permitted in the industrial zone. He's abutted by another piece of land owned by National Grid. The parcel itself is just under 5 acres. I believe that they could rezone potentially just this parcel. So that argument because the whole area is mixed use and spot zoning arguments are less effective against multi-use zones. In addition, the argument for spot zoning is that it's effective or benefiting only one landowner as opposed and disadvantaging other landowners around it. I'm not sure how this would disadvantage everybody else in the zone. I think, like I said, it would be to show there's a benefit to the city at large, and you can show there's something unique about the area. And again, if it's a mixed-use zone, these were all sort of potential characteristics of this project that might allow even just the rezoning of that one parcel and survive the spot zoning claim. Moreover, it doesn't prevent them from getting other parcel owners on board to rezone the property back to what it was. It used to be industrial. So in my view, I think I think the people at that horse if we move this along for additional hearing or something. I can't countenance the idea of changing the MU1 zone wholesale across the entire city for this one project. We said no once before. I mean, we did allow them to withdraw it. I don't see how this thing makes it any further, at least from my point.
Yeah, my comments were going to be similar to that of the Ward 4 councilor about the petition we had less than 2 years ago. I guess one question I have kind of related to the administration that the chair made is the petitioner made aware that this would be moved still heard tonight? Okay, I just want to make sure if we're going to deny something, at least give them a chance to come here and defend themselves. I agree, I have concerns about changing the whole MU1 zoning to allow this across the city, and then us get into a position where we were like, oh, but we didn't mean there, in 6 months from now or 10 years from now. And if there's an opportunity to change the zoning of just this one parcel of land, I would much rather see that than wholesale changes.
And that's exactly why I had suggested the subcommittee meeting, but it doesn't have to be that, but, the January 12th meeting, Counselor had indicated that there was a potential to, particularly maybe rezone just specifically for this project versus the entire MU1 for the whole city. So I wanted just more information about that and that process and that, how that would play out, particularly for this project. But again, if we're opposed to scheduling a subcommittee meeting to kind of hash out all of those details, I'm happy to discuss it in another forum or take another opportunity to have that conversation.
Yeah, I'm just going to go along with the Ward 4 Councilor. We've had these discussions many times over the past couple of years that, this does affect every MU1 district in the city, and I don't think, I'm not supportive of doing that. I think there is an opportunity to change. If there's a real desire for this, there's an opportunity to change it back to industrial, that all that area was industrial prior to the change in MU1. So that possibility still exists, and I think some of the abutters would probably be supportive of going back to industrial, so it would really support the change and take away from the smart zoning possibility. So, and I just want to reassure the council that since Sunday morning at 8:30 when Brian first called me, Attorney General first called me, we have gone through this whole agenda, the process of the storm, the process of getting to this point with the public hearings. I spoke to the clerk on Sunday as well, so we went through everything. So everything that we're doing tonight has all been legally supported and has been in concert with what the city solicitor is supportive about. So just to reassure the council on everything that we're doing tonight.
As a point of clarification, our recommendation is going to be to rezone this to industrial?
No.
No?
No.
That's his
Just-
option.
That's his option.
That's
We're
his
just going to
option.
deny it.
We're going to either vote for this
Or
or
den-
deny it. Or
Deny it, okay.
this.
Okay. All right, thank you. Huh?
Or give it leave to withdraw.
Or give it, okay.
Is there any other comments, questions? I'm going to go to the public and then I'm going to weigh in.
Motion
Councilor
to
Shalfo Zephyr?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. This is probably for Attorney Ryan, or for anybody. Has anyone, did anybody speak to the petitioner, this week after the meeting at Granville? I mean, were they assuming that this was just going to get further time and they would catch us at the next public hearing? I just want to make sure that.
No.
Okay, so.
They knew about the Monday 23rd meeting.
Right, I remember that.
And I emailed Jeff at the meeting and told him that we rescheduled to this evening.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything from anybody else
Okay.
since then.
Okay, but he was aware.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
I'm going to go to the public first and then I'll weigh in unless anybody else has any more comments. Everybody else,
I just, real quick, I mean, we went down this road once and gave that prior petition leave to withdraw. If we had denied that one, we wouldn't be there. So I might be a little remiss, I hate to say it, but in my position. Because this could come up again, same problem,
In another area of the
same
city.
problem,
Yep.
we know affect. I mean, how do we say to the people in North Leominster that, we essentially discouraged harassment? I don't think anybody knows the deal with this.
At this point, I will open the public. Would anybody from the public like to speak in favor of this petition, 25-26? If so, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Once again, would anybody like to speak in favor of 25-26? For the third time, would anybody like to speak in favor of 25-26? Would anybody like to speak in opposition to 25-26? If so, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Once again, would anybody like to speak in favor of 25-26? And for the third time, would anybody like to speak in favor of 25-26? Did I do against as well? I think so. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't being redundant, make sure people are paying attention. If there's no comment in any way, shape, or form from the public on 25-26, I'm going to bring it back into committee, and it would be my recommendation that we move to deny 25-26 and close the public hearing unless there's any support to keep it open. Otherwise, I think it's been very clear from the beginning that, at least for me anyway, I appreciate the site walk that I was given as the ward councilor back in before we had any snow on the ground, probably just before we had snow on the ground in November. I think this site, is probably a good site for what they want to do. But the problem is, like I explained, that day when I did the walk, was unfortunately, what they were going to propose was going to affect the whole city, and that was probably going to be a challenge. And I'm sensing that that's the challenge that's before us. So for me, I'm not going to give the go-ahead to affect the entire city on this particular zoning. I think they need to find a different way, if there's one, to move forward without affecting the whole city and changing the zoning, and then we can have one of these facilities in a place that is probably not anywhere near as conducive as this site is. So that would be my recommendation. And once again, I'm going to go back to the other member and see if there's any appetite to closing this public hearing and moving forward.
Yeah, I think, given what I've heard this evening, I share similar concerns. The broader implications for the city, should this pass, are just, they're just, there could be some serious consequences for that. So, given that, I am not opposed to closing the hearing on this and, issuing whatever recommendation that they look for other alternatives to this project.
Okay, so at this time, unless there's any other questions or comments from any other member of the City Council, I'm going to ask that we close the hearing on 25-26. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. We are now going to hold a public forum. Public forum is an opportunity for any member of the audience to speak on any matter specifically listed on the council agenda. Speakers will be asked to enter the microphone and state their full name and address, along with identifying the specific items they wish to address. Each speaker is respectfully asked to keep their comments within a 2-minute time frame. The council will not be responding or answering any questions. However, at the discretion of the council president, clarification may be given. At this point, we have one person signed up, Peter Hager.
Hi, 333 Elm Street. Here to talk on item 3026. In favor of it, I spoke about this already, so I'll be somewhat brief. We municipal aggregation is a way to save money for our residents, businesses, and the city itself. If you were to move this forward, the process for this isn't going to go into effect anytime soon. This is going to take a year and a half, 2 years to enact. Part of that is after the city comes up with a plan, the state then has to vet it, and then it also comes back for public review as well, according to the Department of Energy and Resources that oversees it. Of the communities that can have municipal aggregation, when you subtract the 49 communities that have municipal light departments, 81% of them have the municipal aggregation, which puts us in that 19% that does it. I mean, this is a pretty common sense thing to help folks out. It doesn't limit options, it adds an additional option for folks. They can opt out at any time, they can opt in at any time as well, which is something I neglected to say last time. The residents and other communities that already have municipal aggregation, the number one reason why they like it is because it's kind of a set it and forget. They know that there could be a month or two where market rates could drop because usage, demand falls. But overall, they have benefits over the year. They don't have to spend any time, delving into different contracts, trying to forecast electricity prices. It's a simple, easy way for them to get savings as well as the city. Last point here. Since it's kind of a set it and forget it type thing, the other thing that we're helping folks out with is there are predatory companies that try and do the third-party auctions. And so for folks that, again, either can't navigate those waters or don't want to bother navigating those waters, this provides an additional option for them to get savings without having to pay.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. We're approaching time to open the meeting, so the regular meeting of the Leominster City Council for February 25th is now in session. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now do a roll call of councilors in attendance. Councilor David Cormier.
Present.
Councilor Aguirre.
Present.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Present.
Councilor O'Meara.
Present.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Present.
Councilor Robbins.
Present.
Councilor Bedanza.
Present.
And I will be listed as president. We have 8 councilors present. Do we have any approval of the records or? Okay, all right, we'll put that off until the next meeting. We have plenty of time on that anyway.
Motion for recess so we can finish the public forum.
Second.
And we have a motion to recess. Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Council is in recess. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to address the council on any matter on the council agenda? Again, for the second time, is there anyone that wishes to address the council on any matter before the council on the agenda? For the third time, final time? Is there anyone that wishes? All right, if you come to the podium, state your name and address.
I wasn't sure if we were, or if it was being discussed, the petition for the Human Rights Commission.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The steps for the petition for the Human Rights Commission, I wasn't sure if that was being discussed tonight.
It's only being regular course tonight. It's on for the first time.
Yeah.
I did send an email to every councilor.
Do we have your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Robin Dowling, and I reside on 29 Fifth Avenue. I apologize.
No problem.
I came Westmoreland, and I didn't know if it was a possibility to speak on this, and I do understand.
You can certainly speak on it. It's a lot, you're allowed to speak on it. We just will not be taking any action on it tonight.
I did send an email to every counselor, and I do want to thank the ones that responded, the counselors that responded. Thank you very much. I did have one thing that I wanted to read just for us to kind of chew on and meditate and think about. And it is a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, if I could just read this. Whereafter do human rights begin? In small places, close to home, so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any map of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual person, the neighborhood he lives in, the school or college they attend, the factory, farm, or office where they work. Such are the places where every man, woman, and child seeks equal justice, equal opportunity, equal dignity, without discrimination. Unless these rights have meaning, they have little meaning anywhere else. Without concerted citizen action to uphold them close to home, we shall look in vain for progress to the larger world. Remarks by Eleanor Roosevelt at the United Nations, March 27, 1958. And then Eleanor Roosevelt's famous quote emphasizes that human rights begin in local, daily environments, small places close to home, like neighborhoods, schools, and workplaces, rather than only in large, abstract, or global meanings. Eleanor Roosevelt argued that if rights are not meaningful there at home, they hold little significance elsewhere. So I had come across that today, and I just wanted to share that. And I am a human rights consultant, and I have also served on church boards, PTAs, did a lot of community outreach. I work with a couple of organizations in the area now, all across the spectrum of what affects daily lives in different arenas. And I want to thank you for bringing this matter and this petition before the council, and I thank you for your consideration of it. And I look forward to having further discussions on this in any form, and I believe that education and awareness is going to be very important for all of us to have a thriving future. So I just want to thank everybody for reading my story as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council on anything on the agenda? One more time, is there anyone else that wishes to address the council on anything on the agenda? If not, we're going to declare the public hearing closed. Public forum. Communications from the mayor, C-46.
Jean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that an appropriation of $10,000 to the building expense account with the same, request the appropriation of $10,000 to the building expense account with the same amount to be transferred from excess and deficiency.
It's all,
fine.
it's short but sweet.
Yeah. Adequate. Okay, then, C-46 is referred to the Bureau of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. First time on the calendar, regular course, please.
Okay, C-46 is given regular course. C-47.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the appropriation of $500 to be used for the distribution of a scholarship to a disabled high school student.
C-46 is again referred to the Chair of Finance.
C-47 will be given regular course.
C-48.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $3 million to be transferred to the stabilization account from excess and deficiency.
C-48 is referred to the Finance Chair.
Thank you. C-48, first time on the calendar, regular course, please.
Okay, C-48 is given regular course. C-49.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $3,812.50 to the parking enforcement expense account with the same amount to be transferred from excess and deficiency.
C-49 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Yes, once again, first time on the calendar, regular course, please.
C-49 is been given regular course. C-50.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the amount of $20,000 be made to the Bulletproof Vest Fund with the same amount to be transferred from excess and deficiency.
C-50 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please.
C-50 has been given regular course. C-51.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $50,000 to the city solicitor expense account with the same amount to be transferred from excess and deficiency.
C-51 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Yes, once again, Madam President, regular course.
C-51 has been given regular course. C-52.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $420 to the veterans expense account with the same amount to be transferred from excess and deficiency.
C-52 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please.
C-52 has been given regular course.
Could I just point out before we move to
Okay.
petitions, on C-47, even though it's a very small amount of money, I don't see where it's coming from. I'm requesting an appropriation of $500.
I saw that as well, and I figured you would find out.
Yeah, I will.
It's in the
It's in the letter?
It's in the attachment. Right there. Disability Commission.
Is there a disability commission?
Yeah, I believe that's where he's taking it from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
From the
believe
fines
so.
account.
One of those one of those accounts, I
We'll,
think.
we'll
I think it's
control
the
on that.
handicap fine account.
Take it out next time.
We can amend it, we'll amend it next time then.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
I'm just going to remind everyone to speak up so the audience can hear us, because we have no working microphones at the moment. Moving on to petitions, first on the agenda, 36-26.
Gregory C. Chapter Lane, purchasing agent, requests to allow the purchasing agent to award a contract for school busing services for a 5-year period. The current contract will expire at the end of this school year, June 30th, 2026. And in anticipation of its expiration, I am in the process of preparing an invitation to bid to secure transportation services for the next 5 years, said services to begin July 1st, 2026.
36-26 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. First time on the agenda, regular course, please.
36-26 has been given regular course. 37-26.
Harry Noseworthy, Ward 5 Counselor, requests that the city adopt the following policy and establish a Human Rights Commission for the city of Leominster.
37-26 is referred to the Legal Affairs Committee, and I also think it should probably go to Ways and Means as well. Or it's possible policy or an ordinance. So, Legal Affairs first. Councilor Romero, you wanna go with that, or you want me to go with Councilor Cormier?
If Council Cormier is okay with the proceeding, no, I'm good, thank you.
Councilor Cormier, we're gonna give you the two.
Okay. So I would give this regular course with a referral to the mayor.
I'm sorry.
Just regular course with a referral to the mayor,
Okay.
unless anybody else has any other referrals they like.
And probably the city solicitor?
Yeah.
Well, when we get to that point.
Right, because this is an ordinance, so it's gonna have to go to them.
Well,
If it's passed,
I
it'll go
think
to them.
that was the question, because it's actually coming in as a policy.
Right.
And I don't know that we have the right to adopt the policy, if it comes from
We-
the mayor.
If I may, for example, we have a cemetery commission, that's by ordinance. It's in our ordinance book. I would have to think this will be similar, like it would be an ordinance if it made it that far.
Yeah, I had sent an opinion a while ago, I can't remember who. But I was seeing this petition, that was my conclusion, that the council can establish a new city agency
Right.
under the charter, but it needs to be by ordinance.
So we'll do legal affairs, Ways and Means with a referral to the city solicitor as well.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, moving on to matters before the city council. Mr. Chairman, are you ready with your financial report?
I'm not, you don't have the comfortable with not seeing them along.
Okay, that was because of the storm probably. Okay, so we got, how about, and we had no findings, right?
No. Remarkably.
You were great tonight.
Easy night, Madam President. Easy night.
All right, moving on to Ways and Means, C-44.
C-44, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the City Council vote to approve Suzanne Kohler and Sandy Cucciara to the membership of the School Building Committee for Fallbrook Elementary School. We were supposed to have this was supposed to be part of a subcommittee on this past Monday night, but obviously with the storm, that didn't happen, so, and it didn't get reposted for tonight, so just very quickly, I think we can come up with a recommendation. It'd be my recommendation that we grant C-44. I think both of these women have been involved in education in one way or another for many, many, many years, and they will be an asset to give all the input needed for a new school building in our city. And it would be my recommendation we grant C-44, and I'll ask you to check with the other member that is here this evening, Councilor Robbins.
I agree.
Okay, so it's a unanimous recommendation to grant C-44.
We have a unanimous recommendation from Ways and Means. Do any other councilors have any questions or comments? Councilor Salazar.
I just see both Ms. Cucciara and Kohler in the audience, and I'd like to say thank you very much for stepping up to do this, because with all of your experience on the school committee, both of you bring valuable experience and a really important perspective. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, all those in favor, we'll do this in roll call.
We should be good.
Yeah, just do the roll call, just trying to decide whether to do it individually or together.
Yep.
All right, let's do it individually. Councilor Cormier, you're on. Let's take Suzanne Kohler first.
Yay?
Yay.
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 Yay?
And I'll be recorded as yay. And now the recommendation for Sandy Cucciara, the school building committee, Councilor Cormier,
Yay?
Councilor Ivey.
Yay.
Councilor Nosworthy,
Yay.
Councilor Romero,
Yay.
Councilor Salazar,
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
And I'll be recorded as yay.
Congratulations.
to both of you. Moving on to C-45. Dean J. Mazzarella.
C-45, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the appointment of the following: Planning Board, term to expire 4/15/2031, John J. Souza. Madam Clerk, it would be my recommendation.
If I could just interrupt you. I have asked the city solicitor to join us tonight because we've all gotten emails, and a number of the emails have been some bad information, some different points of view on exactly how appointments, whether they be holdover appointments, interim appointments. And I thought it was time that we have the city solicitor explain the appointment process in the city so that it is on record, it's on video, the public can see it, and everybody will understand exactly how the appointment process works. We all got a list. We know there were some appointments that are due, long overdue, and I'm sure there'll be more coming down. We need to have a clarification so that everybody's on the same page and knows what the legal process is for the council. So with that, Councilor Riley, thank you for being here with us.
So I'll start with the holdover issue first. I know that Mr. Souza been serving on the planning board for a long time. Under the charter, it's an appointed office, appointed by the mayor with confirmation by this council, and for 5-year terms. And apparently, I learned a few months back that that this particular 5-year term had expired quite some time ago. And I personally and our firm have sent a lot of opinions out on this issue, a few to Leominster, that there is state case law that when you have a public official, it's typically more with the holdover, although it also applies to an elected office if something like you have an election and 2 top candidates tie, so no one was elected, the incumbent continues to serve as a holdover. But what the cases say that it's sort of, for public policy reasons, you don't want there to be questions about, this person's term expired, that means his vote was invalid. And so what the cases have said is that it's not technically part of the term, but the person who held that office is allowed to continue to serve in that office until someone, whether it's the same individual or someone else, is qualified to take their position with a new term. And so these are called holdovers. Now, the kind of implied in these cases, and this is what I said in my opinion too, is that this is supposed to sort of solve a problem on a short-term basis. Holdovers really aren't supposed to carry on indefinitely, but at the same time, there is no state law that says you can only be a holdover for X period and then you're out. So the opinion I gave regarding the planning board chair was that I believe he still holds that position as a holdover, but I did recommend to the mayor's office that that this be rectified so there isn't this sort of gray area, or at least apparent gray area with someone. Are they legitimately holding their office or not? So the mayor acted on that, as you know, on this agenda item, put forth Mr. Souza, who is the incumbent, to be nominated for to be appointed for a new 5-year term. So that was the appropriate way to approach this problem, quote unquote. Now, since then, so that's how holdovers work, and that's what we have always advised. Since then, a couple of things happened this afternoon. One is that Mr. Souza sent by email something to the council president and also to the city clerk, saying that he wanted to accept this memo as my resignation from the Leominster Planning Board, effective the last day of June of 2026, which is a few months down the road. And then when the mayor was informed of this, the mayor contacted the president and said, I would like to withdraw his appointment, rather than have the council go on. He just wants to withdraw it. And the withdrawal is not specifically mentioned in the charter, but I don't see any reason why the mayor wouldn't have the authority to do that. So, assuming the council is fine with that, I believe where this stands then is if his name is withdrawn, he continues to legally hold the office as a holdover. But I would also add that under state law, when a public official puts in writing and files with the city or town clerk, I am resigning my office effective this date, they literally cannot take it back. So if Mr. Souza continues to serve through the end of June, that's fine. He will have resigned as of that date, and that seat on the planning board will be vacant. I suppose technically the mayor could put forth someone else to take that seat for a 5-year term, but I think that's where it stands right now. He is no longer up for appointment for a 5-year term. He would continue as a holdover until the end of June, and then, assuming nothing happens in between that, with his seat, he will have resigned and that planning board seat.
So I just, Attorney Riley, if I may, Madam Vice President. Attorney Riley, I had also asked you, just to take your opinion a little further. I was here back in, I think it was 2016, when an appointment came before the city council, and we had tabled it to study. And then we were told, sometime later, that, guess what? Under 3.8 of the charter, that person is, by default, because for our inaction, that person is now appointed. So, and that person is still in that position, and their name has never been sent back down here ever again. So I wanted some clarification on 3.8 of the charter, because I wanted to make sure that that's not going to happen again. At least not with me being the chair of this committee. We're going to take some action if we have to take some action. So I'd asked you about 3.8 of the charter. I wanted a full understanding of, so basically, you can, please stop me if I'm wrong. When the mayor sends us down a name for confirmation, basically, the clock starts the night that we give a regular course. That's the night that it's on our agenda for the first time. So for the purposes of this appointment, we are now 14 days into this clock. And the clock does not stop on holidays, days that City Hall is closed, weekends, or anything like that.
16.
I'm sorry?
16.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
today's not Monday. I'm
Right.
thinking it's Monday.
Right.
It's Wednesday.
See how
See,
we play that clock?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. This is Monday, I'm used to Monday. I'm gonna be off all week because I'm thinking tonight's Monday. We're 16 days
Just for
into
the
it.
week.
Yeah, well, I'm off, that's another story. So anyway, we're 16 days into this, and so I got clarification for now or anything in the future as to when, the clock stops. And basically what happens is this council has to say yea or nay within 28 days, so that appointment becomes effective. Is that correct?
What this section 3.8 says is that when the council first gets it, it shall submit that proposed appointment to a standing committee. The standing committee has to report back within 28 days. And let's say the council's holding a meeting tonight, you get this name, you give it to a standing committee, tomorrow would be day one. But the standing committee has 28 days to come back with their recommendation, and the council has 30 days, so 2 extra days, to vote on that, whether to confirm that or not. But as of the 30th date, the charter says, shall become effective and shall be deemed to be confirmed on the 30th day following the date was received by the city council. So if you get to day 31 and the council hasn't voted to reject the appointment, sort of happens by default. It's approved by default.
So basically, under a strong mayor, weak city council form of government, we really can't stall this process. We have to move along. So if we were to give it further time, table for study, leave to withdraw, anything of that nature, after 28 days, the potential is there that the mayor could, not the potential, the appointment will become effective. So basically, the only thing this council can really do is within 28 days say no thank you. I mean, as far as saying yay, it's just like ceremonial. It's basically,
It's confirmed.
it's confirming, but if we don't do anything, it's automatic anyway. So all we really have the authority to do as a city council that, based on your opinion, is to say no, or the thing is happening. Correct?
After the 30th day.
Because
Yes.
tabling is not an action, lead to withdraw is not an action, further time and just kicking it around is not an action, correct?
That's how I read the charter. And this actually is fairly common language in cities. And I think, the point is, you're supposed to get these vacancies filled. And so, it's a relatively short trial. Yeah, I would say that's correct.
Now, going back to, Mr. Souza's appointment, so he can't change his mind.
Correct.
In May, he can't have a change of heart and say, I don't think I'm gonna resign. I want to stay.
Yes. Oddly enough, I
Can-
actually went to Superior Court over this case. Somebody resigned in writing with the clerk. The next week, they changed their mind.
Can the appointing authority, who in this case is the mayor, can he change his mind?
To come back to it.
He would,
And keep him as a holdover?
As it stands now, he is continuing as a holdover. I suppose he could tell the mayor, I've changed my mind, I'd like a new term. And if the mayor puts that before you, then you start with 30 days.
Okay. So if we do something tonight other than say nay, the mayor can't, after June 30th, because that's when his is effective, the mayor can't hold him over any longer than that,
Correct.
based on
Yeah.
what he put in writing for resignation.
The only way he could continue to be on the planning board after the end of June would be if the mayor puts him in for a 5-year term.
And this body,
Back to us.
this body, by a majority vote,
Correct.
gives him another 5 years.
That's correct.
Well, he
I agree
can't,
with
couldn't
you.
he do the 30 days? He could do 30 days, he could
They
come
did.
back for his 30 days. And then have to come back to us after the 30 days for a total of 60.
I suppose
As an
as the
interim.
interim, yeah, but that's pretty short term. So.
Right.
But as it stands right now, he's continuing in his seat, but as of June 30th, he's resigning.
I mean, I'll say this much, I've never agreed with the holdover opinion, but I'm not an attorney, and I get it, we're a strong mayor and a weak city council form of government. And personally, and I've always differed with the mayor on this, and, I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again. I think a 15-year holdover is abuse. It's abuse. I get it. He has a right to run the city. He's gotta have, people on boards and commissions and department heads. And this council, as a weak city council, this isn't like Washington DC. We can't play those kinds of games here. He has a right to run the city. But I think a 15-year holdover is just, it's abuse. And, I just want to make sure that if we give this leave to withdraw tonight, that there's nothing that's going to go beyond June 30th with this appointment. No one's going to tell us anything other than that we didn't take action, or we didn't do this, or we didn't do that.
Agreed. I think he's legally in office now, and he would continue if the mayor has withdrawn his name, but not past June.
Isn't there a distinction here between
Let
us?
me just,
Thank you.
Councilor Charles, you've got your hand up for a while. Are you
I'm good.
okay for the
I'm good,
moment?
thank you. Yes, thank you.
Councilor Charles?
Thank you. Mr. Riley. So, section 2.65 established appointment in terms of members for the planning board, right? Okay, so the city shall have a planning board to consist of not less than 5, and it talks about confirmation by the city council. Second paragraph says, On or before the first Monday of February of each year, each member of the planning board shall be appointed to serve for the term of 5 years from that date. Upon the expiration of any such 5-year term, the position is to be filled by mayoral reappointment as stated in section 2.3 of the Leominster Home Rule Charter, or if reappointment is not made at the expiration of the term, the position is considered vacant and must be filled by temporary appointment, as defined by section 2.5 of the charter. I go to section 2.5. You want to get that out?
I will.
Okay. I'll give you a minute. Section 2.5, I'll start reading because there's a couple of paragraphs. Temporary appointments to city offices. Whenever a vacancy, either temporary or permanent, occurs in a city office and the needs of the city require that such an office be filled, the mayor may designate the head of another city agency or city officer or city employee or some other person to perform the duties of the city office on a temporary basis until such time as the position can be filled as otherwise provided by law, charter, or by ordinance. The mayor shall file with the city clerk a certificate in substantially the following form whenever he makes a designation under this section.
That's the interim.
That's temporary appointments
Temporary.
that section 2.65 refers to. If the appointment is not made by the expiration of the term, then the mayor is required to appoint somebody temporarily according to section 2-5.
Isn't that the same as an interim?
It's very, I'm going to keep, can I keep reading? Because I think this is the part, this is the important part. So it provides some language for the mayor to send down to us. I designate, name a person to perform the duties of the office, blah, blah, blah. I won't read that. But then the last paragraph I think is really important. No such temporary officer shall be appointed for a period longer than 60 days. However, he may be reappointed for succeeding 60-day terms without limit unless rejected by a 2/3 vote of all members of the city council. Any such temporary officer shall be sworn and give bond for the faithful performance of his duties in accordance with the provisions of law applying to the officer whose place he fills, and if he fails to do so within 10 days after his appointment, the mayor shall rescind the appointment and appoint another. So,
That's what we've done with interim appointments.
but Mr. Souza should have had numerous 60-day temporary appointments after his term expired. And we, the city council, with a 2/3 vote, could have rejected any one of those temporary 60-day appointments.
I think that it doesn't matter. I mean, what he's done in the past with other appointments is he sends 30 days down.
The 60.
No, he comes, it's 30 at first, and he doesn't need a vote of the council, and then I think the additional 30, he needs to get a vote of the council. That's how we've usually done it.
Well, section 2.5 temporary appointments just says 60 days. It doesn't say 30 and then 30, according to what I have from online.
We're talking about succeeding 60-day terms unless rejected.
Right, by the council. So, because this holdover thing, there's no, in my reading of it, if the appointment is made before the end of the term, okay, then the appointment is done according to section 2.3. If the reappointment is not made before the expiration of the term, then the mayor is required to do a temporary appointment as defined under section 2.5. So, a holdover without any kind of review, what I'm reading is that anybody who is serving in an expired capacity, the mayor is required to submit 60-day temporary reappointments that the city council can reject with a 2/3 vote of all members.
Well, Attorney Riley was looking at that when you go to the council.
No, I was just drawing a distinction between us as a body giving that C-45 leave to the dog versus the mayor asking them, who was who sent the communication, asking them. I think those are two different things. And it's an important distinction, and maybe we give it, we haven't acted.
Right.
But if the mayor asks for it to be withdrawn, I think that puts us in a position where we're not, I'll ask Attorney Riley to confirm this. If the mayor asks for a leave to withdraw, it's not putting us in a position where we sort of accidentally, by inaction.
I would definitely say that 30-day clock is no longer.
Okay.
Can I ask an extension of that sort of line of thinking? If we chose to deny, we still have this letter on file that says he's resigning. So if we deny this, he is still in a holdover capacity because the mayor hasn't given us anybody new.
No.
No,
He's
we're
done
denying the
immediately.
He'd be
confirmation.
done immediately.
He'd be done
Yeah.
immediately.
He wouldn't be
done.
allowed
Oh, I
to go
see.
till June,
Yeah,
I would think.
Right.
correct.
That was my
Yeah.
question, is would he
He'd be
able?
done.
He'd be done, okay.
So
Yes.
just for clarification again, as well on my end, so are we going to vote on the mayor's request to withdraw this?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's what
here.
you're right, okay, and, yeah, I guess that's,
So.
We haven't got to that discussion yet.
yet, we're
Yeah.
I
still
wanted
trying
Attorney
to,
Riley to talk about the
Right.
appointment
Right.
before we get into that.
Right,
Yeah.
because we're questioning the whole holdover, the way it's been defined and the way it's been explained. I don't believe that that's really the case.
And I was just going to say, while the attorney's looking it up, as the at-large counselor mentioned, from what you just read, and I'm not an attorney either, but from my interpretation, he's not even in a valid capacity to put in his letter of you know, resignation from.
He's never been temporarily.
He's never been
appointed.
temporarily appointed.
I have a question about that, and I don't know for sure, but how many of these unvalidated temporary appointments do we have in the city?
Yeah, that's
Several.
I think we've got
Several.
quite a few of them, you know.
That's
That would, all of a sudden, we're gonna be in deep doo-doo.
That's right.
but
We are.
but, you know,
Yes.
with all due respect, the mayor's been operating this way based on an opinion that was given by KP Law. So
years ago.
they,
Yeah, but-
right, so they had indicated something that, you know, in their opinion, may not actually be correct, is what counselor, you know,
Yeah.
the ward counselor here has just highlighted. So I think we need clear, yeah, Lodge, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm just, ugh. So yeah, obviously we need clarification.
Yeah.
One reason I keep looking at this ordinance, 2-65, it says upon the expiration of any such 5-year term, this is just on the planning board. Positions to be filled by mayoral reappointment as stated in section 2.3 of the Leominster Charter. And it has in parentheses, or if the reappointment is not made at the expiration of the 3-year term, I don't know what that's referring to. The position is considered vacant and must be filled by temporary appointment defined in 2.5.
I think it's a
probably
typo,
because most
yeah.
of our terms
They're all
are
3
3-year
years.
terms, except for the
I
planning
think
Except for the
board.
planning.
Yeah.
planning board
It's
was
five.
12-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Okay.
a typo.
What else? So I'm sort of thinking out loud here. You know, the court cases that I've cited on holdovers, I think I can make a blanket statement that kind of would take precedence over an ordinance, which is not consistent with what the courts have said happens if somebody's term expires and no one is qualified to start a new term. But the charter, you know, the charter 2.5 says what it says. doesn't it?
It's pretty clear.
It is very clear.
So it may be, and if I may, I wouldn't mind having a little time to put this in writing back to you, but
No, I
it may
agree.
be that in order for, at least with Mr. Souza, to continue for a few months, because I don't know if for other candidates who want to fill in the planning board out there, that perhaps this temporary appointment would make the most sense.
What you're suggesting is if we vote on the mayor's request to withdraw, he's done on the last day of June.
He's certainly not on the list.
And then it gives the city some flexibility for the position.
But, I'd like to consider how section 2.5 fits into all this.
I mean, if I may, too, Brian, you talk about holdovers in case law, and I'm sure that that's in more recent years, right? You know, this charter is from 1984, so, I mean, I'm sure some recent case law would potentially trump this charter, too, if
There's at least one case which postdates that in 2001. But, if it's, so I don't know what you want to do with the mayor's request tonight, but, I'd like to try to see how I interpret 2.5 fitting into this, because the charter is a whole different.
Because there's two issues here, right? There's the general idea of holdover appointments in general, and especially the planning board in that particular language.
Yep.
And then there's the issue of John Souza. There's two different issues here.
And it's not just the planning board. One of the reasons I wanted
Absolutely.
Attorney Riley to come here tonight and discuss this was because we're gonna have more that we're gonna be looking at.
Right.
And we need to know what the legal and proper steps to take going forward on all the others that we have. We know we're gonna be looking at them. I've been here 32 years, and before Attorney Riley, it was Attorney Giorgio, and every new council that was put together came up with the same question and, the same issue with the holdover. Everybody had the same, there was always somebody that was being held over, for many, many years that councilors wanted to see come down, and
Yep.
they weren't. And we've had that discussion for many years with the same opinion, and we've had to follow that. So, Councilor Norton.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm just curious, and I don't know if we know the answer yet, and I understand about case law and superseding, but because our charter is in writing and because it's so hard to modify the charter, my legal question is also why you're looking into this. If the case law supersedes the charter, then are we allowed to, or you or whoever, go into that charter and make that modification? So city council, I mean, how does this work?
The new charter commission.
or you could petition,
Well,
if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's a home rule. You have to go to the
Right.
legislature,
That's another vehicle,
go to the
too.
legislature.
Right.
Sorry, if I could just finish my question, sorry, real quick. I understand that that's what it takes to typically change the charter, but my question is, so if it's not changed because of how much it takes to change the charter, does KP Law write up a legal interpretation and we just follow that and we don't change the charter? I'm just trying to understand for the average person at
That's what
home.
we've been
Absolutely.
doing with the holdovers, is going with their recommendation, we do this.
Right, but I'm just saying if someone reads the charter, that's not what they're going to read.
My question is, do we have the right to vote against the mayor? If he wants to withdraw this, he can withdraw it.
Right.
And we can't really vote against that, can we?
Absolutely.
We can?
He's asking us to withdraw. Once something is submitted to the council, it becomes council possession.
That's right.
It belongs to us. It's not his, it's not ours, it belongs to the council until we act on it.
Okay.
That's right.
So that's what we have to act on first, is the mayor's
So we need to act on it at that point, whether
Yeah.
accept his request, and how to move forward with it. Let's go back, you wanted to say something anyway.
I just wanted to say that I think I have at least said this in the opinions we've sent over the years, is that, you know, the notion of a holdover in office, it is valid, the courts have said so. It's not supposed to be a long term. That's
Right.
what you want to think that I'm
Right.
saying.
I think that's
the problem.
where
That's
the
why I've
problem
always
is.
respectfully
It is a problem.
disagreed with your opinion from many years ago.
The terms are supposed to,
I-
the terms, you know, a 3-year term or a 5-year term, that's what it is, and it needs to be filled.
In my opinion, holdovers allow the chief executive to run the business of the city, to get through a kerfuffle, okay? It's not a 15-year, we're gonna dangle.
I think we all
Okay?
agree with that.
Yes.
So,
There's nobody, no
Right.
matter how good they are,
I also,
it deserves a 15-year holdover appointment.
I
They
also-
deserve, if they're doing a good job, they at least deserve to have, you know, the appointment.
I also have another question for Mr. Riley, if I may. What would prevent us, okay, from voting on what's before us tonight, okay, C-45, to this appointment, either vote yea or nay, okay? If we vote yea, if this body says yea, then the issue's done. He's there till
It's for 5
2031.
years.
That's right.
If we say nay, what prevents the mayor from still giving him a temporary 60-day appointment? Nothing.
However,
But we have to approve that.
But it's not valid.
It would come back to you eventually.
it will come back on us.
Let's go in order here, but it's, I think Councilor Robbins is next up.
Yeah, just as a further extension of section 2.5, kind of based on what the council president has said, when you look into that more, can you look at it also from the perspective of not just the planning board, but these other temporary
Appointments,
holdovers?
right.
Oh, yeah.
So we can understand
Yeah.
if this really applies to every single one, or if it's just the planning board, because I think that was unclear to me.
Yeah,
Aren't
You know-
some of these governed by state statute, like planning board is under subdivision control law with the 5 years, I guess that's what 5 years.
yeah, I mean, most of these.
Board of
do
Health
appear in the
is
statute.
under
Sure,
DPH.
sure, yeah.
So there are some guidelines that are dictated by state.
But to Councilor Arderinger's point, like, I want to understand when you come back to us, if we're in a huge issue with the
Problem.
many
Yes.
long
Yeah.
holdovers that we have, or if it's just secluded to this one planning board thing because of the wording in the charter.
Right.
I've asked Attorney Riley, when he does get to this point, that it will be a logical step that we know we have to do here with any appointment that comes before us, or any holdover that we're looking at this point.
Yeah, you know, with elected officers, the city clerk can tell you when they end, and then you have an election, so this doesn't come up. With appointed officers, you know, and
Right.
honestly, someone needs to keep track of that.
Councilor Schultz is up, I think,
I was just going to comment that, to Mr. Riley's point about, you know, holdovers are supposed to be short-term or whatever. And the temporary appointment section 2.5 makes that really clear.
Yes.
It's 60 days and you can keep coming back for 60-day appointments, temporary appointments, but the council does have the power to, with a 2/3 vote, to deny them.
Is there a distinction between interim and temporary, as far as that charter?
Well, the charter, 2.5, it uses the term temporary.
Right, that's how we've been acting as far as interim. When the mayor
Right.
fills, you know, with all the police chiefs that we've had over the past, you know, somebody fills the spot for 30 days and then an additional 30 days. And the only thing he had to do for the first 30 days, the way I understood, the first 30 days, he had to just verify their qualifications, that they were, we didn't have to vote. If you needed an additional 30 days, and that's how you read the charter, but what we've done in the past is that the additional 30 days, we had to vote on it. So there was a total of 60 days, and then it would go for more, but that's what we've done in the past.
Okay. I will do my best to address all those things. Yeah,
Thank you.
2.5 talks about 60 days,
Yeah.
and then a succeeding 60 days
Right.
unless rejected by the council.
Right.
Thank you.
Councilor Nosworthy.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Did you want to say? Really quick, Madam President, I'm just curious, for the people watching at home, and like I said, for, you know, new city councils in the future, is there a document or a way, if we're not changing the charter, but it's radically being overwritten by case law at the state, that can be, there can be a document
I think
somewhere, or is
that's
there?
what you're saying. I've asked Attorney Wiley to do that.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's here.
Right.
That's why he's addressing this, and
Okay.
and he's gonna put this all together
Yeah,
for
Fantastic.
for us
As
to be
thorough
able
as
to
I
follow.
can.
Okay, thank you so much.
And the reason we have him here tonight was because of the people at home, and because of the emails we've been getting, because
Right.
there's so many different opinions.
Right.
And we needed the legal correct opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had a lot of emails saying to us, don't reappoint John Souza as the planning board chair. We have no authority to appoint him as the chair. The body itself appoints the chair, not us. So there's so many different versions out there that we needed to clarify that, but now and in the future.
Thank you.
Councilor Bedan, did you have something else you?
No, I think we're on the right track. I mean, we have two issues, one more systemic problem. Councilor Shelton was up, where we have the specific problem, which is what we go in and see 45. I think we're clear on that now, what our options are. So
Right. So-
basically, it's either we allow the mayor to withdraw the petition and Mr. Souza continues, the Chairman Souza continues till June 30, or the chairman recommends denial, we have the votes, he's done tonight.
Why June 30th? Does anybody know why June 30th? And Mr. Souza, he's not attending meetings now because
Yes,
he's
he
out
is.
of
He
town.
does by
He
Zoom.
Zoom. He
Oh, he
attends-
does by Zoom,
he
but he's out of
attends
town.
every
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
Which they've voted to allow that. We
Yes.
voted down here to allow that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, that, you know, there is a state law about an official filing with the clerk. saying, I'm resigning my office. Sometimes it's effective immediately,
Right.
and they can't take it back. But sometimes it's effective January 1.
Okay.
And that's still, it's binding, but they're not out the office until January 1.
That happens quite often. Not very many people go out immediately.
Right.
They usually, even when you retire from a job, it's like, there's a, time frame.
We don't want quorum issues either, so we want some time to replace
Right,
the
right.
person.
So, back to the ways and means
Just
chair.
the chair.
C-45, okay. All set, everybody's good? I'm gonna give my opinion. It's been a long time since this appointment has come before the city council, okay? And I've been asking about this appointment and many others that have been held over for a long time. And now this is before me. And I think it's time to make a decision. And I'm just gonna say that I have a lot of respect for Mr. Souza. He is a good guy. He's very knowledgeable. We've been, on different occasions, and
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we continue that, but before you give your recommendation, I just forgot, I have a letter here
Sure.
that I want to read into the record.
okay,
I can do it, if you want to continue with your comments?
whatever you want.
All right, let me read it now before this is from Nancy Kosky. Good evening. My name is Nancy Kosky, 2 Debbie Drive here in the city. I'm speaking on the appointment of John Souza. Unfortunately, I cannot be there in person this evening to support his nomination. I have known John and his wife Pat for over 20 years. The planning board, under his guidance and direction, basically oversaw the construction of the Cortlandt House, now known as Sunrise Assisted Living. We as a city are blessed beyond measure to have him in a position that oversees state, federal, and city guidelines for planning. The board must follow all these guidelines regardless of their own personal thoughts. John is a gentle giant amongst men. He's articulate, extremely knowledgeable, and a distinct leader. As a side note, he's very supportive as a Rotarian. Therefore, I would like to support his nomination. Thank you, respectfully, Nancy Okoski, 2 Debbie Drive, Leominster. Thank you.
Thank you. So as I was saying, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Souza. He's a wealth of knowledge. You know, we've been to coffee on different occasions, and his depth about understanding how, you know, zoning works and different things. He was helpful with me when I was a new counselor, for sure. And, you know, I think it was through him that I started to understand that, you know, sometimes when you sit on one of these bodies, what looks to be obvious is not so obvious. And you have to understand that, you know, you're like, why would they make that decision? Like, it makes no sense. But you have to understand that there's certain laws, there's guidelines, there's things that you have to go by, and you can't make assumptions. You have to go on facts. And I think he taught me that, and I have a lot of respect for him, you know, for helping me to understand that when I became a new counselor. You know, John has been involved in this community in many capacities for many years, and he's a good person. But I'm not gonna blame him in any way, shape, or form for his 15-year holdover. That is on the corner office. So we gotta kind of take ourselves. We gotta remove that. That's not John's fault. We have to remove him from that situation. That's a whole nother situation. But one of the issues that I've had, and every time somebody asks me about it, just when they ask me about these holdovers, I tell them, go see the mayor. We have an opinion, I don't agree with it, but I have to respect it. Go see the mayor. Whenever people would ask me about a certain member of the planning board that was operating for several months remotely, I'd say, go see the mayor. I don't have any say over the appointment. It hasn't been down here for 15 years. I can say this. It is my personal belief that government is handled in these chambers. It's handled in room 10. It's handled where the body is physically meeting. And I have never liked the fact that he is not present at meetings and hasn't been at certain junctures of the year for many years. I think the mayor has had plenty of time, you know, to sort this all out. And at the 11th hour, I'm not going to accept some email for a resignation. The mayor has much more power than we do. He can send a 60-day temporary appointment down here tomorrow if he wants. We are the toothless tigers. We've been waiting 15 years for this. Well, constituents are yelling at us, okay? What are you doing? Why aren't you being more forceful? So this is what's before me, and I've made it very clear that I don't think it's a good policy for the city of Leominster that we're gonna have somebody that's operating remotely, and I am not signing on to this anymore. I'm not accepting some resignation that we don't know if we're still in a kerfuffle about language in the charter. And we've been nabbed before with this 3.8 and the 28 days because we're a strong mayor and a weak city council. I'm gonna make this clean, okay? I am not gonna support the reappointment, so I'm gonna vote against C-45, and I'll ask that you check with the other member of my committee.
Councilor Rodman.
Thank you, Madam President. I echo a lot of the sentiments of the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. As a newer counselor, I haven't had the opportunity to meet Mr. Souza as much as many of the other members of the city council, but I am very familiar with his community work and applaud him for the countless years that he's given to the city of Leominster, not just in his planning board seat, but in his various volunteer roles. I keep going back to the over 50 emails that we as a council got about the procedure that the Ways and Means Chair alluded to. It's just something that continues to sit with me. So seeing such, I'll support the Ways and Means Chair's recommendation to deny petition C-45.
Okay, you've heard the unanimous recommendation of the Ways and Means Committee. Any other councilors have questions or comments? Councilor Bedanko.
Yeah, I'm not gonna support that. I think we need an orderly process here and to sort of take the, the long-term chair of the board and end that tonight, in my estimation. Not only potentially creates quorum problems for the citizens out there that have important matters before the planning board. There are probably a number of items that Mr. Souza is involved in. Not just as the chair, but as a member of the planning board. June 30 isn't that far away. It's enough time for the mayor to get an appointment down to us. It's not so much time, we've waited 15 years. Our city attorney has made it clear, the resignation is effective, can't be pulled back, and it's not gonna be unwittingly, the confirmation isn't gonna be unwittingly approved because we allow the mayor to withdraw the petition, so I'm gonna take a position against it. Against the recommendation of the chair.
Pardon me?
Any other questions or comments?
Against the recommendation of the chair.
You're against the recommendation of the chair?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking
Okay.
the position that we should allow the mayor.
He doesn't support denying.
Okay.
Councilor Nero is next.
Okay.
I think he was. I think it's fine. He can, Councilor.
You defer to
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's
Councilor
fine.
Thank you, Madam President. I probably know John Souza better than anybody on the council. I met him shortly after I moved into Leominster many years ago as a part of the Boy Scouts, and was involved with him in scouting for years. And then, as many know, or some may not know, his daughter and my son are married, so we've become outlaws. We can't be in-laws, we're outlaws, okay? So, and I look at the work that John has done over the years. Being the chairman of the planning board is one of those positions that whatever decision you make, half the people agree with you, half of the people hate you. And what we're seeing tonight is the result of the decisions that were made by the planning board about Orchard Hills. That's pure and simple. This didn't come out of the clear blue, and if you look at the people that are sending those letters in, many of them are the same people that complained about Orchard Hills. And it's retribution. And John is an honorable man. I would stand up to him if I tied him in any case. And I'm going to be voting against the recommendation of the chair of the, over here, okay, sorry. But, I just don't think that waiting till June 30th is going to be a big difference. And it's certainly going to not hurt the planning board at all by keeping John on for another few months, whereas it may hurt the planning board very seriously if he's not there. The amount of knowledge he has on the ordinances and stuff like that is just unparalleled. So that's my position, and I'll stand by it. Okay.
Councilor Nero.
I'm actually going to express support for the recommendation of the chair of the Ways and Means. First, as you all have expressed, I also want to recognize and I want to thank Mr. Souza for 30 years of remarkable service to this city. I understand, we would not be the city that we are without his participation, without him being a part of the planning board. However, as a newly elected city councilor, I received dozens, as some of you have as well, of emails from constituents voicing concerns specifically about this nomination and in opposition to Mr. Souza. Given that that was the case, I was hoping that he would be here for an interview, which I have not yet heard whether or not that's what the response was to that. But when the request for an interview was made, I was hoping that he would be present and he would be able to provide responses to the list of questions that I had formulated and sent and submitted that addressed, I feel like, a lot of the concerns that came forth, that were brought forth to me by residents and constituents. One, I did not receive responses to the questions, and it's still not clear again if he plans to appear for an interview. So with that being said, I do apologize, but I do want to read for the time that this might take, but I do want to read the questions so that they're recorded into the record, so that not only is the council aware, but also the public is aware of what questions were asked of him that, again, he has not provided a response for.
Well, before you do that, let's make sure from the clerk or the chair of the Ways and Means, if they were forwarded to Mr. Souza before we say he didn't answer them.
Through the president suggests that the clerk forward him.
The questions?
Yeah.
I have not seen the questions.
Those were sent, those sent to the city clerk?
No, I sent them to you, well, I sent them to the committee,
The chair-
as well as
the chair.
CC, the council president.
Okay. I didn't send them to him.
Okay. So
So
I
he
was
didn't
under
get
the,
those questions.
Okay.
Just to, in fairness.
yeah, no, that's
he-
absolutely fine, and I appreciate that, because that does help, at least clarify that aspect of it. I would still, well,
I don't know
before
if
we
it's
even get into that,
necessary to read the
at this
question.
particular, no, I'm not going to, no, at this
I mean,
particular
they're a
point.
matter of public record.
But what I would like to know is what the response was to the request for interview, to come before the city council, even if he's planning on resigning in June.
I'm sorry, I was.
Yeah, no, that's fine. My question is, what was the response to the request for him to come in to speak with the city council?
He did not answer my request. I did not get an answer directly from him. I was given an answer by, I'm going to say, a third party, but I can't go by that because it wasn't his words, so I don't know.
So, I know that there's been a comment about, they are not being, June 30th is not that far away, but the reality is that this individual is operating, Mr. Souza is operating remotely. My understanding is, city council is not even allowed to operate remotely. And in this particular case, he's not even going to be present until, I think it's April or May, something along that line. So, to say that it would make no difference, keeping him on until June, in my opinion, it does make a difference. We need someone that's present. We need someone that, again, especially if they're considered to be the chair of the planning board, to lead the board in a physical capacity. So, again, I support the recommendation of the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, and with that, I'll defer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I too support the recommendation from the Ways and Means Chair. Mr. Souza, lots of people have said he's a very nice man. He has done a lot of really good things for the city. He's a very active participant in the community. He's done a lot of wonderful work up at Shoreland Farms. However, I think it's time for a change on the planning board. And I would like to remind every councilor here that when we were knee-deep and towards the end of the lengthy, detailed, heart-wrenching, for some people, discussion of the change in MU2 zoning, Council President wanted to have Mr. Souza invited down along with the planning director. Mr. Souza, and the planning director, in all fairness to her, there were circumstances that precluded her from coming. There was a death in the family. However, Mr. Souza never, I don't think he responded, and yep, thank you for confirming that. And not only did he not respond, but he just did not come down here as the planning board chair to answer very, very important questions that I had, that other members of the city council had. He had chaired or been a very active part of the housing committee. That was a very important part of how all of this zoning was developed for the MU2 zoning change. And again, there were lots of unanswered questions that he did not come down here in person to answer. So that's why I would not support Mr. Souza's reappointment. He is a nice man, and this is not personal at all. But I think we need a planning board chairperson who is present, who is a leader, and who can, show up and answer may be some tough questions. There may be some not so tough questions. So that is why I will be supporting the Ways and Means Chairperson's recommendation. Thank you.
Councilor Mosley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief because a lot of what I'm going to say has already been spoken. But I, as well, will be supporting the Ward 3 councilors' path forward. I also want to thank Mr. Souza for his endless years of service, both in this capacity. I've been to many events and things, even though I'm a newer counselor, where I've seen him there at the Halloween parade, lots of things, him and his wife, and it's to be commended. I guess I take more of a stance, as the Ward 3 counselor mentioned, this is not personal at all. It's really a systems thing, and some of these decisions that we're moving forward with, there may be a little pain, but I think, as we've mentioned, we are, I guess, a weaker city council in a heavy mayoral city, and we need to rectify some things within the parameters of what we're allowed to. So I, as well, received many emails, and even in the emails, that gave examples and things asking for me to not move forward with this reappointment, I do want to share. They had a lot of positive things to say about Mr. Souza, so I really don't think that this was personal at all. And so again, I won't reiterate what's been stated, and I think, yes, I understand what the Ward 4 counselor was talking to as well, but I think if we keep cleaning up messes, we're not gonna have some progress, and this is gonna hurt a little bit. But I think we need to start doing the right thing and moving forward. Thank you.
Anybody have an opportunity? In the absence of the vice president, I will ask the prior president to take the chair.
Thank you. So, great. Okay.
I just want to make a couple of comments about Mr. Souza. I, as well, have known Mr. Souza for over 30, 40 years. And I, as the Ward 3 councilor for 16 years, it was probably my time that had the most amount of building in South Leominster while I was the Ward 3 councilor. I attended. There wasn't a lot of televised activity back then. I attended planning board meetings. I was there and watched the process. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Souza. I know where everybody has said he's a nice man. He's done a lot of good work. This isn't a recommendation to keep him on for 5 years or to let him go immediately. This is a over 30 year service to the community, and the mayor is suggesting that we allow him to resign, and at least it's not a reward, but it's a respect for the position. We talk about, he's been over 30 years. I've been over 30 years. There are a lot of people in this city. If you look at our department and you look at a lot of our volunteer committees throughout the city, we had a librarian that was here for how many years? We've had a DPW director that's been here for these are the people that have made Leominster what it is right now. Granted, there are groups of people that don't like Leominster the way it is right now, but there are a tremendous amount of people that really have like what we have and why people are wanting to move here. I just think that I almost find it a little disrespectful to not give him the opportunity, to resign on his own terms and let the mayor withdraw his resignation and let him stay and finish off with the planning board. To just cut him abruptly off tonight, I think, is just doing such a disservice for 30 years of time, volunteer time that he's spent in this city doing some of the things that he's done. Do people make mistakes? obviously. Have we made mistakes down here over the years? Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find anybody. We all come from different walks of life. We've all done things differently. I won't support the recommendation either. I support giving the man the opportunity to leave on his terms, resigning, and, you know, be able to allow the mayor to withdraw his resignation, his name, his nomination. So, with that,
So the chair back to you, Madam President.
all right.
Can I
Yes.
just one quick question as well? When does his appointment actually expire? Do you know, do we have the date?
Doesn't have-
2011 have an appointment.
10 years ago.
2007?
If we vote according to the recommendation tonight by the chair, he's done immediately, he's done, he's gone. What the mayor is suggesting to, let the mayor withdraw his name from nomination.
And keep him as a holdover?
No, he wouldn't
Until
really be a
June.
holdover.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'd be there to June.
Exactly.
For June, he's out. So he'd be there to June. So, that's the difference.
Yeah, I just, I wonder, and I haven't attended a lot of the planning board meetings recently, but how many different projects are at the planning board right now that John has been very instrumental in, and what happens up there? I know there's at least one other person on that planning board that's been there over 30 years. You know, what happens to both of them?
Carol started at the same time as I
Huh?
did. Carol started pretty much.
Well, then
the
that makes 3, because I wasn't counting Carol.
And Sal.
So all of a sudden, you've got 3 people that are immediately off the planning board. What happens then? Yeah. What is it going to do? Which is going to be the best for the city? To abruptly change it, or let it go out to the June 30th and then have a clean path?
I believe Sal and Carol from the last time, look, I think they're until 27. I think
Yeah.
they're.
Okay.
I think they're,
Okay.
yeah.
That was gonna be my
That's
question.
not
Yeah,
a big.
They weren't
To the
holdover
at-large.
appointments then. Because I've never seen them down here, that I can remember.
Yeah, it's been
They've been
done.
here.
If I may, I mean, I just want to make it clear, okay? I am not trying to be disrespectful to anyone. I have been very outspoken about this for years. And I'm not signing on to it anymore. I'm done. Okay? This is before me, finally. And I'm done. And I'm gonna send a message that I'm done. Like, I'm done. We're not gonna keep doing this, okay? What's gonna happen if all these scenarios, okay? What if, I asked a bunch of what ifs to the attorney tonight. What if the mayor changes his mind? What if John Souza changes it? What if other people on the board? You know what? We've had how many years to figure this out? And all I do is sit here and say, I don't know. I don't have any power over that. I mean, I'm done. It's time for all of us to make a move and say that we're good. I'm tired of listening to constituents time and time and time again ask me about these expired appointments and why this particular member is down in Florida for however many months of the year. I'd be a hypocrite if I signed on to this for another minute. I'd be a hypocrite. It's not personal against anyone. You know what? We can have a big party for him. He has given so much to this city. No one can take that away from him. I'm just not signing on to these policies anymore. I'm done.
Councilor Leominster.
Okay, let's put the cards on the table, okay? I've spoken to the mayor for years about replacing Mr. Souza for a variety of reasons, okay? I mean, I think I like John personally, never had a problem with him personally. My pet peeve with respect to the planning board has long been the collection of unaccepted streets that we've developed over the years and a lack of sort of oversight with respect to developers posting proper bonds or being given their bond money back too aggressively. And the mayor would say to me constantly, who you got? what's your idea? Who do you have to appoint as the planning board chair? And honestly, I didn't have a solution, okay? And for us to sit here and tell everybody that's watching this that we love the guy, he's a great guy, he's done all kinds of volunteer service, we want to cut him off after 30-something years of service today because we want to make a point for who, okay? The orderly process of government involves finding a replacement, and it's going to take time because there isn't one right now. Anybody know who the replacement is? Because I don't, all right? So for a couple of months period of time, we're going to prevent the mayor from looking for somebody to replace Mr. Souza with, okay? After he's been there all those years with all that institutional knowledge, we're just going to say goodbye? Look at, the point's been proven, okay? The mayor sent, everybody knows why the mayor sent this down here, okay? We all know, because he wanted him to step down as chair, and the planning board fought to do otherwise. That's why the appointment come down. The mayor didn't send the appointment down here to support Mr. Souza, we all know that. Let's put the cards on the table. So to say here indignantly, I'm not gonna put up with this anymore, there's nothing to put up with anymore. It's over. And in my humble opinion, government deserves to be prosecuted in an orderly fashion, not in a chaotic, not in a retribution type of attitude. So I'm very much against denying this tonight, based on the mayor's request of the trial.
Councilor Green, will you take the chair again for a minute?
I would certainly will.
I guess I just want to mention when you were speaking that this isn't John's fault. You wanted to make it very clear this wasn't John's fault. It's the corner office fault about the 15 years. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Not one of us, I won't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for me. There's no way that this amount of time, we've all argued this point ad nauseum. Every one of us, we've asked for it. I go back to the days when we had a different person in City Hall, that everybody on this council over the years wanted to come down here, and it was never brought to us. And I think I voted for him once in 32 years. So this is something that's been going on. This should not be concentrated on one person who's put 30 years in office.
Madam President?
Councilor Romero, and then we'll
You know,
wrap this up.
Yeah, I just want to make it very clear. My position is not retaliatory in any way, shape, or form. The fact that Mr. Souza was given the opportunity and asked to come before the council and have a conversation with us, because he has not done so in over 15 years or however many years, and he couldn't find that a priority. He couldn't make his way here to do that. The fact that he is attending planning board meetings remotely for months at a time, on an annual basis, to me, that is also something that has to be taken into consideration. This is not being done to prove a point from my perspective, to the mayor, to Mr. Souza. Again, his service, no one can speak negatively in terms of all of the positive things that he's brought to the city. But the fact remains, he had an opportunity to come. He knows if the mayor has sent this down, this reappointment, he had the opportunity to come before us and have a conversation and a dialogue and answer questions. And he chose not to do that. So for me, that is something that I also am taking into consideration. If you are the chair of the planning board, it is your responsibility to be responsive to the city council's request to have you here and answering these questions. And he failed to do that. So that also weighs heavily on me, and that is also something that it's something that I'm taking into consideration when I'm casting my vote.
Madam President, when the at-large councilor mentioned that the planning board chair and the planning director were requested to come down here on several occasions recently, okay? And I believe your comment was that the planning director couldn't make it for some reasons. Was there any consideration that that maybe that the planning director did not want the planning board chair down here by himself?
Oh, I don't know.
I
don't
just,
know
you know, I'm just saying, is that the reason he didn't show up, or has he ever asked why he didn't show up?
It's never been said to me, just for the record, nothing like that has ever been said to me.
Well,
So why
I'm
would
just
you be telling her about?
curious. That's it.
You know, the city council in the charter has the ability to ask any department head to come before the council and ask questions, to get
Yeah.
information. And that's was, you know, at the request, certainly of the council president, and I was interested in asking questions as well. So he just never responded and did not show up. So I think it was an incredibly important development in the city of Leominster, and to not present himself to answer questions of the city council as we were trying to make a very important change in the zoning ordinance, I think is just a complete and total dereliction of his responsibilities as the planning board chair.
No,
So that's, you know, that's my perspective.
I guess we'll respectfully disagree on that point, okay?
Absolutely, Frank, that's
So-
okay.
But wasn't the matter before the planning board at that time? I mean,
No, I think they were finished. I think they already had sent out
I
recommendations.
don't think they were.
No, I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah.
Council President, well, I know you're gonna, you know, kind of close this up, but I just for the sake of being transparent as well, I think for the public, I know that there was a question in terms of the relationship between Mr. Ardinger that you pointed out, or Counselor, excuse me, the Ward 2 Counselor, and Mr. Souza. So for clarification from the attorney, there is no conflict of interest. He is allowed to vote on this. There's no.
The attorney can speak to it, but Counselor and I had a conversation about that. Conflict of interest, it was his responsibility to decide whether he was in a conflict, and I believe there's a disclosure on file with the clerk that, I mean, they don't, you can have two sets of in-laws that hate each other or never met. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, again, I'm just,
I think it's a valid point.
for transparency purposes, so the
No.
public,
Neither
I'd
my,
like to just.
neither my son nor I have any financial gain by this vote, so there is no conflict of interest.
Right. So, but we had a conversation, and he did check with ethics, and there's a disclosure is on file with the clerk, which is what he had to do.
That's sufficient.
Okay, great, thank you. It was just, again, clarification for the public. Thank you.
Okay, the recommendation, again, if you want to just reiterate that.
The recommendation is to deny C-45.
Okay, a yea vote would be to support denying it.
Nay.
Yay.
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 nay,
And will be recorded as nay. So by a vote of
5 to 3.
5 to 3, that the nomination has been denied.
Okay.
Moving on to Moving on to 33-26,
Madam President, before we go in, I'm going to recuse myself from this one as the applicant is my importer.
okay?
Through the chair, I guess, to Mr. Riley, I'm on the board of James Helping Hands, but I don't have any financial gain one way or the other.
Section 19 of the conflict law says that we shouldn't participate if you fall under have a financial interest yourself, your immediate family, or a business organization in which you're an officer or an employee.
Okay. I will recuse myself from that.
Okay, Madam President, 33-26, Ginny's Helping Hand Incorporated request to renew the license to deal secondhand articles at 52 Mechanic Street. This was referred to the collector as well as think it was also referred to the police department, and
Yeah.
both have come back with positive recommendations. There are no issues, so it would be my recommendation that we grant 33-26, and I am a committee of one, so I guess that's my unanimous recommendation.
I just had a question, and it just posed itself with the two refusals. The application was presented, should there be some type of an additional Councilor Robbins is actually the applicant for the business certificate. Is that a problem? And it probably shouldn't be.
For the same reason I said, Council.
So it should not be, it should be someone else, maybe the president of the board or something, it should be.
Yeah, any other officer or employee, whoever they would like to name.
Should we give that further time and have that change?
For the record, I think.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
okay. Yeah, that recommendation.
Okay. So what is it that you have an issue? What is there? an
No, I
issue?
just had a question where you just had that, where the attorney just had the ruling for the counselor at large. I just wanted to clarify the fact that the applicant for the certificate is Counselor Robbins. And Attorney Riley is suggesting that we give it further time and have
Someone else.
the chair of the board or another employee actually sign that document.
Instead of him?
Right.
So his refusal then doesn't allow him to act as in this capacity for this
Well, he's
entity?
recusing from the vote, not from the application.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Just from knowing the way the Ethics Commission views these things, I think it'd be best to have someone else sign off on that document.
Okay. So this is a document, the business certificate, correct?
No, it's a license to deal with secondary emissions.
Right, but what exactly do you want somebody else to sign off on? The business certificate part of it?
Petition for the license.
It's a petition for the license.
So he can't petition this at all?
No, because he's a counselor and an employee.
Okay. All right, then we'll give this, so they have to refile the whole
It's just a
application.
matter of having someone else sign, that's all, right?
Okay. All right, then, if the attorney is asking us to give this further time, then, Madam Clerk, if you can get all that information and send an official letter and let them know, so that they are aware. So then, I guess we'll give 33-26 further time.
And that's your recommendation.
That's my recommendation.
Okay, we have the recommendation, is the chair, any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. 6-0.
Okay.
Two abstentions.
If there's no objection, since we could use to save a couple of minutes tonight, I'm going to ask that we take 34-26 and 35-26 in block. They're similar petitions.
Hearing no objection, go ahead.
34-26, George's Fine Jewelers, DBA House of Relics, request to renew a license to deal secondhand articles at 1292 Main Street, Leominster, Mass. And 35-26, George's Fine Jewelers Incorporated, request to renew a license to deal secondhand articles at 255 North Street, Leominster, Mass. Both of these also have been referred to the treasurer and to the police department. The police department primarily, just so that the public and new counselors are aware. It seems like yesterday, but probably it's probably been at least 14 or 15 years, we were having issues with a lot of house break-ins and valuables that were being stolen and then sold or pawned off at some of these local dealers. So the reason why we refer this to the police department is because all of these secondhand dealers are required to keep logs of who, what, and when, and so that if anything appears to be stolen, that there's some kind of a track record. So that's why we refer these to the police department and to the treasurer's office, just to make sure that they've met all their financial obligations as well as the city. So all those on these two have come back in a positive manner, and it would be my request that we grant 34-26 and 35-26, and I'll ask that you check with the other member of my committee.
I agree.
Okay, we have unanimous recommendation. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it, 8-0. Moving on to legal affairs. And we'll let Council Conway move on to 26.
3-26, Glenn Eaton, Executive Director, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, request to amend the zoning ordinance to replace Article 15, accessory apartments, with a new Article 15 that complies with recently passed state law and make other changes to implement the new ordinance. We had closed the public hearing on this, and I had mentioned that Councilor Shalfo Zephyr had been very diligent with working on some things that didn't jive, and I had mentioned that I would ask her if she's prepared to make some amendments, and then after those are made, I suppose I can make a recommendation on the amended version of this petition.
Certainly. So there are two changes, and the changes that I will refer to are attached to the November 5th, 2025 petition letter from Elizabeth Wood. And the first change is on the second page of the attachment, and it is number 10, which says amend section 22-24 business B district by adding the phrase, quote, other than detached single-family homes to item 24.3.1. So it reads, in quotes, residential uses in the BB district other than detached single-family homes are permitted with a special permit from the planning board. So the change here is to delete the phrase other than detached single-family homes. That's the first one. And the next one is on the next page, and it's under number 12. In section 22-37, amend item 37.3 by doing the following. And it's in actually the second paragraph, which reads, a detached accessory structure of 1 story may not be closer to the principal structure than 10 feet. A detached accessory structure of more than 1 story may not be closer to the principal structure than 15 feet. An accessory structure not used for human occupancy may not be closer than 10 feet. Attorney Quessel, when we asked her the question about whether or not this 10-foot language regarding an accessory structure not used for human occupancy, it was conflicting with other parts of the ordinance. So at our legal affairs subcommittee meeting, we discussed, and I think the group approved, changing that 10-foot restriction to 5 feet. So that's the second one. And again, that's number 12, and that's on the second page, third page. And those are the two changes.
I'm sorry, what was the first one? I was shuffling pages.
The first one is on the second page of the ordinance. It's under number 10.
Okay.
And under number 10, the proposed language, residential uses in the BB district other than detached single-family homes are permitted with a special permit from the planning board. The recommendation is to delete the part of that that says other than detached single-family homes.
Okay. Okay,
I'll
good.
second the motion and then.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to amend in a second.
Oh, nothing to try.
Rick wants to vote.
He's ready to vote.
He's ready to vote.
I'm trying to be naughty.
We're all ready.
Right now.
Yeah, we're voting on the
So, all-
amendment.
All those in favor of the amendment, signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? The ayes have it, eight to nothing for the amendment. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so, Madam President, it would be my recommendation that we grant 3-26 as amended, and I'll ask you to check with the other member of my committee.
I agree.
Recommendation is to grant as amended. Let's do this in a voice vote. Council Plummer?
Yay?
Council Ivinger?
Yay.
Council Nosworthy?
Yay.
Council Romero?
Yay.
Council Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Council Robin?
Yay.
Council Bedanza?
Yay.
I'll be recorded as yay. So the vote is 8-0, passed as amended. 25-26.
25-26, Attorney Jeffrey Avini, Dombrowski, Avini, and Bunnell, PC, request to amend Section 22-17 as to underlying zoning districts table of uses for the City of Leominster zoning ordinance as amended and under the business uses table of uses in the multi-use MU1 underlying zoning districts and change the use so designated as self-storage from N, not allowed, to special permit of the planning board, SPPB, planning board special permit required. Pursuant to the City of Leominster zoning ordinance, self-storage is characterized as a business use but is only allowed in the industrial zoning district. The introduction is 21 Jungle Road LLC.
I'll move that we.
Okay.
Waive the
Thank-
reading.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No pushback from
Took me
me.
long enough, I was waiting for.
So, we had a subcommittee, we had a public hearing earlier this evening, and we did close the public hearing. I will reiterate my comments that I firmly believe that, this site is conducive to this sort of development, and if this was specific to this site, I'd be taking a very good and hard look. But unfortunately, what they're looking to do would have an effect on the entire city, and I don't think that's a good idea at this point, and so it would be my recommendation that we deny 25-26, and I'll ask you to check with the other member of the Legal Affairs Committee.
Yes, for the reason stated by Ward 3 Counselor, I agree that with his recommendation.
We have a unanimous recommendation of the Ways and Means Committee. Any other questions or comments?
Legal Affairs.
Okay, I'm gonna do this in a voice vote as well. Council O'Connor?
Yay.
Council Ivinger?
Yay.
Council Nosworthy?
Yay.
Council Romero?
Yay.
Council Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Council Robin?
Yay.
Council Bedanza?
Yay.
And I'll be recorded as yay. I voted 8-0, 25-26 is denied. 30-26. Ways and Means and Legal Affairs.
Yes,
We'll do this.
I should be getting paid double tonight, okay? Two paychecks this
I
month.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am well aware. 30-26, Brandon Roberts and Susan Shalfo Zephyr, councilors at large, request that the mayor authorize the appropriate department or departments to research, develop, and participate in a contract or contracts to aggregate the electricity load of the residents and businesses in the city for other related services independently or in joint action with other municipalities, and to authorize the mayor to execute all documents necessary to accomplish the same. I have to admit that I think we were trying to have another subcommittee meeting about this. And I have not talked to the chair of the other committee so that we could coordinate this together. And I can tell you that I was between all the weather we've had, and as sick as I was last week, there wasn't going to be any subcommittee meeting for me. So at this point, I'm going to ask that we give this further time, and we're going to have to, schedule a subcommittee meeting once the chair is back of legal affairs, and I will work with her on that. So it'll be my recommendation, and you can ask each of the other members that are present of each of the other committees, their recommendation, but my recommendation be further time.
Councilor Romero for legal affairs.
I agree.
Councilor Robbins, ways and means.
I agree.
Okay. Petitioners are good with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so the recommendation is for further time. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? 8-0 for further time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for jumping on roll call. And Councilor Romero will thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
No problem.
I'll bring you some treats.
I like chocolate.
I'm not sure how much you learned with all that tonight. but,
Right.
It was a good experience. 20, Public Service Committee, 27-27.
I'll be abstaining from this. It involves my employer.
Petition 27-26, Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc. Request permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures, along and across the following public way. Pleasant Street, National Grid to install one jointly owned pole on Pleasant Street beginning at a point approximately 10 feet east of the center line of the intersection of Lisa Drive and continuing approximately 10 feet in an easterly direction. National Grid is installing a push brace on pole 70 in order to remove an existing tree guide.
I'll move that we cut the reading off like that.
Thank you.
Second?
I'll second it. Okay, great.
No objection?
So you probably all received the two emails that we received on this petition today. It would be my recommendation for just one more time, to give this petition further time for the same reasons we discussed at the last meeting, especially where we've been having the weather we've been having, and if something happens, a lot of people could lose some power instead of having them start over. I guess my only question at this point would be, and I guess this is to the Ward 4 counselor as well as whomever, I don't know if the Ward 4 counselor is familiar with the two individuals that National Grid is unable to get a hold of, because I think that's the linchpin to, moving things forward. So I didn't know if you would be comfortable reaching out, or if you want to give me their information, or however the appropriate path forward is.
Yeah, I'm sure I can find the contact
Okay.
information somewhere. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Great, thank you very much. So I don't know if the clerk or the third member have any other input at this time for this petition.
I'm fine with further time.
Great. Thank you very much. So again, with a unanimous recommendation to give this petition further time.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Any other questions or comments? I do think it's important for somebody to be in touch with these people,
Yes.
because obviously there's a stalemate with the electric company
Yes.
here. And we need to see if they're gonna dig their heels in. I just remember the comment of the electric company that if that tree goes, there's gonna be a lot of people out of power.
Exactly.
And I think we need to be concerned with that as well. So as long as the two of you coordinate, either the chair or.
Yes.
If you could just email me the names that you have for those.
I actually don't have the names, but I can reach out to National Grid.
Alright.
Oh, wait, I think we do have an email.
I thought you spoke to them the night.
No, the
before.
National Grid representative was the one that gathered the
They
information.
spoke at the public forum as well, so the clerk
Yeah,
might.
no, I just thought
Oh.
that the chair spoke with them.
No, just the representative from National
Okay.
Grid, but I'm happy to get those and.
Perfect, then I'll find it.
Okay.
All right, so the recommendation is for further time. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, signify in usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, any new business come before us? The only thing I'll just reiterate, we'll talk about the council photo. Otherwise, we'll be next year trying to get a photo. We're into almost March, and We haven't had either normal council nights twice, and councilors missing on the other nights. So I'll be in touch and see if we can probably do it on an off night so we can get that historic photo. Enough. All right, no other new business? Any old business? Okay, any community calendar?
March 4th, at the Our Lady of the Lake. I'm working with the consultant that's working with the city on the speeding campaign, and it's just a community forum. I'll send you all the flyer that they produced, and essentially it's getting feedback and input from residents on their thoughts, concerns about speeding, and then he's also going to just talk about potential suggestions that our city might be interested in pursuing to address to try to address these speeding issues in Leominster. So, March 4th, but I'll send you all the flyer.
All right, if you send it to the clerk and she can get it out to all
Oh,
everybody.
fantastic. Yep, will do.
Councilor Ranger.
I think that you probably have all seen this, but the Leominster Rotary is holding an event this coming Saturday, and they're looking for volunteers. They're going to be packing 50,000 meals up here in Leominster to be given out to needy people. It's the actual goal is 100,000 meals. We're doing it in Leominster, and there's another 50,000 being done in Westford, I believe it is. So 8 to 2, or 8 to 11, or
Right.
11 to 2.
Yep.
In
But
the
the event
auditorium.
in the auditorium. So if you haven't volunteered, let me
Has
know.
anybody done this before?
No, I
Yeah.
signed up
Okay.
for,
Yeah.
I signed up for Saturday, so
It's-
we'll see.
it's-
You
it's
signed up?
really,
Okay,
Yes.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really kind of, I've done it twice with Rotary
Yeah.
down in Sturbridge, and it's quite a production. I mean,
Yeah.
you just move right along, and everybody puts a scoop of something in their
In a little
package,
bag,
in a
and,
box,
yeah.
and they go into a truck, and it's amazing,
Yeah.
you know, how many people are fed with that.
And I just want to add that the Leominster Flood Project is actually also going to be there volunteering. So
Okay.
if people are interested in sharing their experiences during the flood or plotting the information, they're still gathering that information, so you can do that there as well. And I'll be there too, Frank.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I just want to, I guess in the new business, I don't want to speak for the Ward 2 Council, but I think maybe next Wednesday or Thursday would be the only 2 days for subcommittee meeting before our next city council meeting. So if one of those 2 days don't work, I don't know what we're going to come up with, but everybody should just be on the lookout that there might be an agenda for either one of those nights for a subcommittee.
Councilor Romero's got Wednesday.
That's right.
6 to
So-
7:30,
Right.
right.
If you could try it on a Thursday, if you have Thursday available.
Yeah.
Thursday's available, yeah. I'll do
Frank
my-
can't do Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not available
He's
on
gone.
Thursday, but I'm a part of the
Yeah,
committee.
you're away.
You're not part of that committee.
Committee,
now,
so, yeah,
So you
yeah.
can get the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the information. that
And we're
you
gonna do the
need.
picture at 5:15.
Well, that's the
We-
thing.
Right, we
Oh,
had
Pauline
talked
can.
about on
Yeah.
Wednesday.
We can.
5:15,
For the photo?
right? Right.
And
Yeah,
Pauline's
kind of
free.
Pencil that in for
Good.
Wednesday, we'll check with the photographer. And, I've invited, for one of the photos, I've invited
Wednesday at 5.
Councilor Riley and the mayor. I thought it would be nice to have one picture done specifically for the 250th
Oh.
anniversary.
In the
Um,
286th.
I'm sorry?
It's 286 when Leominster too, same day.
Oh,
Same day, huh?
Nice.
Okay. So I just thought it'd be nice to have that one photo that we can show what the legislative body of this city is.
Sure.
and-
his sidekick,
Here we go.
Batman and Robin.
I was
All right.
beginning to think he's a
Come on,
part of the
all
committee.
right, all right.
Nick,
Do
we're
we
going.
have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you,
Used to be
everybody. It
June
was
23rd.
long, but I think it was,